Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to have a bit of a conversation regarding Iuno, because this character is releasing with some complications, and I'm not talking about her story involvement. If you've taken a look at her kit, or you've watched some of the videos regarding how her kit is going to work, a couple of things are pretty abundantly clear about her. She's going to deal a shit ton of liberation damage, she's going to have a lot of shields that are constantly refreshing on her, and she's also going to give herself a fair amount of damage amplification because of that shielding that she has. A lot of it, around 40%. She's also a sub DPS too, but that's not really going to be the focus of the video. So what's clear is that this unit makes shields, likes damage, and of course, right, does liberation damage. And the thing is, she clearly has the best in slot Sonata set. And that best in slot Sonata set is right over here. It is currently the one that Augusta uses as well. It's going to be Crown of Valor, based off the fact that it greatly buffs your offensive capabilities the more shields that you obtain, and Iuno's going to be able to do that. And the other dynamic when it comes to Iuno is the fact that she's going to be using the Lady of the Sea Echo on the Crown of Valor set, because it gives that arrow damage bonus and it gives that liberation damage bonus, right? I talked about a lot of things. I talked about a lot of facts. Now let me talk about why this set, why this Echo is kind of a disaster. It's kind of an issue, and then we can talk about some of the alternatives. We can talk about some of the different approaches that you can take to mitigate the awful experience that it is actually farming this thing. So let's go ahead, let's start breaking it all down, and let's talk about the first error that, you know, most players are gonna have. So when it comes to farming this Echo, you gotta do a couple of things. So let me just turn my volume down a little bit. You gotta click this. A loading screen. So you got a loading screen to get into the fight. Let's just do the fight real fast. Hopefully we'll be relatively quick with it. Yeah, it's not that tanky, right? It's just a regular 4-cost enemy. Nothing too it just, I guess it'll juggle the shit out of you too. Okay, this is one of the most annoying fucking fights in the game. Anyways, obviously, I went into this without a lot of resources, but yeah, this fight is kind of a pain in the ass. So anyways, we got it. Let's get our Echo. We're farming for Iuno, remember, right? We got to get this material to level her up, so why not just grab one in advance? And now let's see over here. Now we can restart it. We can restart it because we claimed the wave plates. But what happens, right, if we don't claim the wave plates? Let's see what happens if we don't claim the wave plates. We just want the Echo. I press escape. I press this. The only way I'm able to restart this challenge is if I claim it with wave plates. If I don't, I just gotta exit out. And then I got another loading screen. So how fast you can farm this Echo is dependent on how fast your game loads. Imagine if I'm using this on like a phone. So I gotta now go loading screen out and then go loading screen in to farm one Echo. Guys, imagine that I don't have my 15 weekly boss drops. Imagine that I have to kill 2 4-costs. So if you don't get the Echo drop, you'll then have to exit out, loading screen, then go back in, loading screen. You're gonna have to go through 4 loading screens to get 1 Echo. 4 loading screens to get 1 Echo. When for every other 4-cost that's in the game, you can just click the button, no loading screen, and then respawn them. That's it. You can just click the respawn button, and that's not there for this boss. The best part about this too, you guys know how Augusta's kit works, right? If you're out of combat for 4 seconds, you spawn Majesty. Augusta spawns in this stage with no Majesty. And combat immediately starts, so like you don't even have the resources to play her kit properly. Straight up, like she starts with no Majesty. So it's like, clearly, you don't want to use this boss. You don't want to use this character to fight this boss either. And once again, right, we'll just collect this. And with every other forecast, right? Every other forecast when you're farming them, there's a respawn button over here. But there's not. And the only way to restart, once again, ladies and gentlemen, is to do it with wave plates. So let's just say, right, you're not somebody that is going to spend 60 wave plates just to be able to farm faster, right? You're somebody that's going ahead and you're suffering through the loading screens. Well, I have some good news for you, ladies and gentlemen. This is clearly a massive issue, right? This is clearly even a bigger issue if you're somebody with like tech or an HDD or like a phone. You could be spending upwards of like 50% of your time just in loading screens to farm echoes. But there's an alternative, ladies and gentlemen. You remember how I just talked about, right? The fact that Crown of Valor, Lady of the Sea, it gives arrow damage and liberation damage, right? You guys gotta keep in mind, this set is a 3-cost set. And with Iuno dealing arrow damage, you're gonna want an arrow 3-piece. You got Gusts of Welkin, you got Windward Pilgrimage, you also got Sierra Gale. And the thing is, well, when you look into some of these echoes, you're noticing, they kind of have some passive bonuses that work. You could just run 2 pieces of Gusts of Welkin, right? And make the 4-cost maybe something like Cartithia's Sword. Or maybe you want the Nightmare Kelpie and get a 12% arrow damage bonus, right? Maybe you want to go to Sierra Gale. Probably not using Hikari, but maybe you get the 12% arrow damage from the Nightmare Gorilla Echo. That one's easy to use. Or you go ahead and you just do the shortcut. And this is my recommendation to every player. You go to Windward Pilgrimage. Then you go to the 3-cost. And look at what we have over here, ladies and gentlemen. The Karasaur. 12% arrow damage bonus and 12% liberation damage bonus. So you could just run 3 pieces of Crown of Valor where you get the 3-cost over here and then you get the 2 1-costs, right? And then for the 4-cost, instead of using this piece of trash, which is going to take you forever to farm, you just go ahead and you just put in a Karasaur on Windward Pilgrimage in your active slot. And then you'll gain the same bonus that you would have had from the Lady of the Sea Echo. But this, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of way fucking easier to farm. You want to know why? Because 3-costs are way easier to get from Tacit Fields. And what do you have to do to level up the echoes that you get from the Nightmare Purification Fields? You farm Crown of Valor here, and then you can just do the Windward Pilgrimage Tacit Field to get the tubes and tuners that you need to level up your Crown of Valor pieces. But then you can also farm Karasaurs from here that you can just use in the main slot. So Iuno is literally one of the characters where you can quite literally just go ahead and not even farm a 4-cost for it. Or you could do something even crazier, right? For your Iuno, you could take your existing Augusta pieces, right? Maybe you got a really good, I don't know, crit one. You just take this, you put it in the non-active slot, you put a 3-cost up here, that's the Karasaur, right? Maybe you do something like this, and this is just going to be for demonstration purposes. I'm not bricking my Augusta like this, right? You just do this. You take the Karasaur, you pop him in here, and then guess what else I need? I need a 1-cost. Yeah, I just put this bad boy in here. Now I got 3 pieces of Crown of Valor. I got that set effect active. And now I got the 2-piece of Windward Pilgrimage. And naturally, right, I would need to change up some stuff over here. You can mix and match as you would please. Like, maybe you could just go ahead, right? You got this arrow damage bonus one. So you put that over here. And now you're like, oh, okay. I've got to go find a good 1-cost on Crown of Valor now. And so I just put that bad boy in there. And that's another way that you can do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's another way that you can do it. You can literally use your Augusta pieces and use them with your Iuno. But naturally, right, if Augusta and Iuno are on the same team, you can't really do that. But chances are, guys, you've already farmed quite a few of the False Sovereign Echo if you've been farming for Augusta. And with this shortcut essentially being available, you can take the farming that you've done on your Augusta for all those main stats, just level it up, and use the Karasaur instead. There are so many alternatives to spending your entire day in loading screens just to get this Echo working for the Lady of the Sea. And guys, I've already tried farming for this thing. I'm just not gonna do it. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some sort of blend, and I'm probably just gonna throw in a false sovereign in there. Because farming this guy, this is what it looks like farming the false sovereign, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just show you what it looks like farming this guy. And then you can just compare it to your experience farming the Lady of the Sea. This is what we'll call a night and day difference. Why did bro just... Why are these bosses going crazy today? What the fuck even... I never even seen him do that attack before. Bro turned into branch. What? Has anyone seen that one before? Anyways, this is what it's like farming the false sovereign. Let's go again! In what universe are you going to be farming the Lady of the Sea when that is the experience farming the false sovereign? I can almost guarantee you can probably farm like 5 false sovereign echoes in the time it would take you to farm 1 Mia echo. I'm like not even joking. You could probably farm 5, 6, maybe even 7. It's like a 7-to-1 ratio. And when all you're looking for is main stats, you're literally wasting your time, your life, whatever you want to call it. You are wasting a lot by deciding to go ahead and farm this. You should only be getting the mats required to like level up Iuno. Maybe you get a couple of echoes along the way because you're going to need 46 of these bad boys. But beyond that, do not waste your time fighting that boss and going through loading screen hell. Just do and go for the Karasaur and the exact steps that I just showed you guys. The final disclaimer that I'll make regarding the situation over here is that the Karasaur Echo is a transformation echo. It's not a summon echo like Mia is. So naturally, it's going to be a little bit harder to use in your rotation, but it does actually deal more damage. And so the thing is, this is like the animation of the skill. You'll see over here. Not the same as like a summon, right? You can like swap cancel it. You can also like follow up and stuff like that too. You might not use those moves, but there are actually some gaps you can use them a lot in rotations. But this is the great thing. If this is the combination that you're using, you'll notice, oh wait, Saint, you have both the 2-piece and the 3-piece set active with the Karasaur in the active slot. Hey guys, you can just farm this, get a good piece, and then at some point later on, if you do want to actually farm Mia, you can just put it in the active slot. But for a lot of people, it's going to be the lowest effort and a lot faster to just do this and then take one of the existing false sovereigns and just do this. But that's the thing. You have options. This is a 3-cost. It's not a 4-cost echo. And so it's like you can just always upgrade at a later point. But I'm just going to be real with you here. It's not like this echo really does a lot of damage in the first place. And so my recommendation is just going to be, if you're building Iuno set, just get a Karasaur. Make this Karasaur one of your first priorities. Because my takeaway is like, why not? What are you going to lose? You don't lose anything, and you just get her up and running faster. So that'll be it for a lot of people. They'll probably, hopefully they'll run some sort of update on this boss and how it spawns and how you can acquire the echoes. Because, let's just be real here, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the worst farming experiences in the game, and it should be fixed. And now, here's the last part when it comes to Iuno. And this one's just going to be a bit of like a cop-out. Yes, right? You can go ahead. You can use Iuno on Crown of Valor, all of this stuff, right? You can optimize her damage by going 2-piece arrow, 3-piece Crown of Valor. You could also just put her on Moonlit Clouds if you don't give a fuck about her damage. I'm just going to be real with you here. If you don't care about her damage, you can just use her as a Moonlit Clouds buffer, right? That's like the sort of like very desperate sort of like last resort thing if you've run out of every other option. But yeah, it's just this, it's a way better choice. To wrap it all up, ladies and gentlemen, farming for Mia is a complete pain in the dick. It's probably the worst experience in the game, probably the worst forecast to farm in the game because of all those loading screens, and your experience may vary. Maybe you got the fastest SSD on the planet. Maybe it only takes you 2 seconds to load the game, so it's almost no difference for you. But I've got a pretty expensive rig. I've got some pretty good tech, and it still takes me around 10, 15, 20 seconds to go from loading screen to loading screen with SSDs and everything. And so people with lower quality technology could be a minute to even more. And so 2 loading screens in a row to respawn the boss and a 2-kill pity to ensure an echo means that some people could be spending 5 minutes in loading screens to farm 1 echo and potentially even longer. Don't do that to yourself. Do not do that to yourself. You will be crying and you will burn out of the game horrendously quickly. So just go for this option instead. I guarantee it. You won't really, sure, you might lose a little bit of damage or like, oh, you won't have the echo skill, but this is the part that really matters a lot more than the active echo skill that you have. And this perfectly aligns with how Iuno works. So yeah, that'll be that for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this overview, these tips, the walkthrough of why this is a bit of an issue, hopefully that was helpful. Let me know what you all think. Peace.